all kinds of things, the border, maybe extending the tax cuts. In the meantime, your colleagues over on the Senate side, Lindsey Graham, among them, says it's time to get moving. He's released his own framework. He says this on X: I have tremendous respect for Speaker Johnson. I hope the House will move forward soon, but we cannot allow this moment to pass, and we cannot let President Trump's America First agenda stall. One of the things he cites is Border Czar Tom Homan and the operations that are going on. He says you're going to run out of money for what's going on at the border, so he's not going to wait for the House. He's moving ahead.
Yes, Lindsey's a good friend. I have great respect for him as well, and I understand what they're engaging in. They want to move the agenda, and so do we. The President Trump got a mandate to deliver that America First agenda. He's working at breakneck pace, as you just saw in the opening of the show, to do that with the executive branch, and we're going to do it with legislation. So it's a very complicated and complex set of things that we are delivering. Of course, we're going to secure the border. We're going to make sure that American communities are safe. We're going to get American energy dominance going again in the economy and restore common sense. But to do all that in one big bill takes a little bit of time. So we're working through that process very productively. We've been building on this for a year, Shannon. All through last year, we had our committees of jurisdiction working on the ideas to put it together. Last month, we did that in earnest in January. And as recently as this past week, we spent 4.5 hours at the White House on Thursday and 3 hours later that evening working through the final details, and we're very, very close. So I appreciate the Senate's zeal. We have it in the House as well. But as I reminded my friend Lindsey, I have about 170 additional personalities to deal with, and he's only got 53 on the Republican side there. We have, a very diverse caucus with lots of interests, but we are going to get this job done.
So you mentioned the big meeting you had at the White House last week. This weekend at Mar-a-Lago, the Senate GOP team has been with the president. They've got his ear this weekend. You'll have it again, maybe in the box tonight. How do you make the closing message that what you're planning is a better road forward than the Senate?
Well, I talk with the president and his team about this almost constantly, reminding them that we will get the job done, but it has to be the one big bill strategy. And the reason for that is because that gives us the highest probability of success of delivering on all these campaign promises. We will get it done. The president knows that. He invited me to come with him on Air Force One to the game, but I said, Mr. President, I got to go home to North Louisiana and pick up the family first, and I'll meet you at the game. We'll be in the suite. We'll talk about that. He's getting a lot of wise counsel, a lot of advice. But at the end of the day, the House has to drive this process, and we will. We're going to get everybody together.
Okay, when will we see your framework? Monday, Tuesday?
Well, we were going to do a budget committee markup next week. We might push it a little bit further because the details really matter. Remember that I have the smallest margin in history, about a 2-vote margin currently. So I've got to make sure everyone agrees before we bring the project forward. That final product, and we've got a few more boxes to check, but we're getting very, very close.
So we know one of the president's priorities, and yours as well, is to extend those tax cuts that were passed in 2017. Here's what Axios says: extending those for 10 years could cost $4.6 trillion under the current law scoring used by the